On today's episode of Melanated Conversations, we amplify the voice of Chanle Johnson. Chanle is the CEO and founder of Detroit Kindred. Detroit Kindred is an indie beauty company specializing in the duration of natural and organic beauty products. Detroit Kindred offers products for hair, skin, and cosmetics in the marketplace as they become readily available. Chanle prides herself in running an honest company that provides handmade, manufactured, natural, organic, vegan, and chemical-free products from independent companies and popular brands. Listen in as Chanle shares her story of how she stepped out on faith, began her business, and learned not only to build confidence within herself, but her abilities as well as her faith in God. Welcome to Melanated Conversations, our narrative from our perspective.
Here on the podcast, we are amplifying the voices of Black women and sharing their powerful stories of transformation.
I'm Tyrion.
And I'm Yana. Let's start the show. Welcome back to another episode of Melanated Conversations. I am your co-host, Yana.
I am your co-host, Tyrion.
Yes, y'all, welcome back. We are excited to connect and chat with another very special guest.
Yes.
So we actually have Chanle on the line with us. She's actually going to hey, welcome, girl.
Yes.
She's actually going to share with us and share a little bit about her story. And just a quick note, this show is always a big family gathering, I feel, anyway, even with the new women that we connect with every week. I feel like we always, I don't know what I was about to say there. I lost my train of thought.
Our family reunion, and we're able to connect even with our guests and our listeners. But, besides Yana and I being family, we've brought some more family on, actual family, right?
Yes. So y'all, Chanle is actually my cousin through my husband, her husband, and my husband are cousins. I don't know if y'all got that all together.
Boom.
But so this is just a big old little family reunion. So
I love it.
So yes, thank you for saying yes and joining us. As always, before we kickstart our show, we like to loosen up the reins a little bit and, throw out a rapid fire or two, depending on how much time we got.
Mm-hmm.
But are you open to, play with us for a moment?
I guess, yes, sure.
It'll be fun. It'll be harmless.
I really hope.
It's not bad. I don't think it's bad.
No, yeah.
So I'm just going to throw out, as Black women, we have all been on a journey with our hair. And, we rock a lot of different type of styles and locks throughout our journey. So in that, we've learned and discovered we've had some ups and some downs.
A lot of downs.
So I want to know, what's one of your hair faux pas?
Out of all the things you could ask, you wanted to know this one. Okay.
Chanle, we're all on the chopping block. We have to answer this too. So you're not alone in this.
Are we talking about recent or past? Because I got a lot of past ones. Or are we talking about? Okay, so yeah. I used to straighten my hair all the time, just constantly. And it had gotten to the point where I was just gluing tracks in and everything. It was just, it was so horrible. I was going to this beauty school because it was cheaper. I let this girl glue a bang in the top of my, in the front of my head and swoop it around with hard spritz. Oh my gosh. It was summertime. I sweated so bad.
Oh, no.
It just looked like it was a big fan in the front of my face. It was the worst thing I ever did. I have pictures on Facebook. I should delete them. But
no, we need to see.
We need those pictures.
It was the worst. I can look back and just cringe at those pictures. That was probably the worst thing I ever did. Oh yeah, and spritz my hair after a perm.
Was it that pump it up? Because y'all know
pump it up. Yes, it was.
You could walk in a room and you could tell when somebody sprayed pumping up. Like you could smell it in there.
Yes,
it was. That's some potent stuff.
There was some potent stuff. I don't know what they put in that, but it was like it really had your brain on freeze. You put that in your hair, you can't move. Don't let it a little bit get on your eyebrow because it.
Yes, it was like them Chanle curls. Like it just did. It was so hard it didn't move. Like it just never.
Yeah,
that's hilarious.
What about you, Terry?
You know what? So here's the thing about this. Growing up, for the most part, I really was not adventurous with my hairstyles. I really kind of played it neutral, played it safe. I always envied the girls that would take risks. It's not really until I've gotten older that I've started to become more adventurous with my hair. However, the one thing that I did do a lot when I was younger, or like a teenager, 13, 14, 15, I had started like putting a rinse on my hair, try to lighten up my hair color, just try to be edgy or whatever. And I remember going to Little Rock had their annual Juneteenth celebration. I just got a fresh relaxer, fresh rinse. My rinse was like that burgundy kind of color.
Oh.
And
where this is going?
Went to the Juneteenth celebration. Clearly should have checked the weather that day because it was a downpour that came out of nowhere. Those summertime southern thunderstorms that just kind of pop up, and right there on the river, there's really not anywhere you can run to hide. I mean, you can try to run under one of the bridges or something like that, but there's like open space. Anyway, it was a disaster. I think I had on a white shirt to top it off. So I was dripping burgundy hair rinse all over. Talk about embarrassing. One kid was like, you put Kool-Aid in your hair. I was like, this is horrible. 13, 14, you becoming a lot more self-aware. You trying to be a little cute. And that happens.
You didn't let it sit or something. What happened?
No, I mean, I went to the beauty shop. So I got my hair done. Like I got a fresh relaxer, wrap, hair was flowing and blowing, was looking cute. And no. God said, not today.
You just couldn't be great. That's right.
I couldn't be great that day. No, not
so y'all's both, I just thought about y'all's story are both weather related too. That played an impact into y'all's story. Mine, it was just all me. I was the storm. So y'all remember back in the 90s when, Brandy and, Janet with the what they call it, the poetic justice braids, real like the very beginning before they came back to where they are now.
Dookie braids.
Yeah, the dookie. That's what they would call back then. The dookie braid.
Yeah.
And you know how I used to braid it, and then when you get to that end, what you do to the end of the braid?
You burn it.
That's right.
That's right. You burn it. Well, I was over here trying to burn the ends and realize I was burning my hair, y'all.
Oh my God.
Have mercy. Boom.
I was like, because it does have a little scent when you smell, but I was like, this feels different than what I had it done before. Why is it more crispier than the... Yeah, I burnt about 3-4 braids in my head. Before I realized I was burning my own hair. Because you get a couple at a time. And I was I got that lighter, was just going to town.
How long was your hair at the time?
It was, so the braids were maybe shoulder. So it was I would say
neck, shoulder.
Clavicle, yeah. So yeah, I think that was the other part too. I didn't braid them long. Well, I didn't braid them it was one of those kitchen beautician days.
Mm-hmm.
You have a friend that's braiding, and then he's like, "Okay, you braid, I'm gonna burn. You braid, I'll burn." And
right.
yeah, I burned it up.
Well, I'm glad now people figured out like you can just soak the ends in hot water to seal them instead of burning them because.
Well, that hair was different too.
Yeah.
You had to burn it.
That was synthetic.
That was synthetic jumbo pack. Yucky.
Right.
That was them 39-cent bag packs.
Yes.
Right.
Yep.
You can find it at your local gas station.
Right.
I should have known then not to buy gas station hair.
But hey, I can
get a jungle juice and a jumbo pack of hair too.
Listen, the jungle juices.
Oh, so yeah, you live and you learn.
That's right.
Yeah, you do.
Absolutely.
Oh, that was fun. That was
a lot of fun.
Thank you for being open and transparent with us.
Yes.
I'm talking about my embarrassing moments. I have plenty of them.
It's all good.
No, we all do.
Trust, yeah, for sure. Well, I know we could sit and ramble all day long, but let's get into the good stuff. It's time for our melanated chat. And so, are you ready, Chanle?
Yes.
All right, let's go. So my first question for you, can you just tell us what is your origin story? Who is Chanle and what are your roots? Where are you from?
Well, let me just break it down. I do have a name unlike any other. My name comes from my mother's middle name, Chanel, and my father's name is Lee. So combined, of course, you know how Black people like to put names together.
Yeah.
And that is my name, Chanle. I come from Detroit, Michigan. My whole family lives here. And this is where I kind of stuck. I kind of ventured out into the suburbs, but end up coming back. And I love it.
Nice. My mom was actually born in Detroit. Her father moved there. And so I've got some cousins and my aunts had some aunts and uncles that lived out there. And they actually just recently moved here to the Texas area, but spent a lot of summers in Detroit, a lot of holidays in Detroit. So I'm very familiar with it. It's been years since I've been, but I feel like I'm connected to you just because, Detroit, the Motor City.
Yeah, we were just talking about this, Terry, and we were like, if you know, I would say probably there's a high chance if you are from the South, if you're a Black person from the South, that you have relatives in Detroit, Chicago area, or in California.
That's right.
And and both of us, we have on both sides of our family, we have ties to Detroit. So yeah, it's crazy. Well, it's not crazy because I think it goes, that's it from
sense.
A historical piece.
It is because a lot of families have traveled up here for work.
Mm-hmm.
And Motor City, that's the place to be. That was the place to make money. So
that's right.
Yeah, that's why we're probably connected. We all cousins somehow.
Exactly. Yeah, my grandfather used to work for Chrysler while he was up there. So that makes complete sense. Okay, Motown, stand up.
That's right. This the true D. That's what I gotta say that. I gotta say it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we little D.
That's right. The true D.
I won't tell J-Day that because he believes y'all the real D, but
no.
Girl. We're actually originally from Arkansas, so we transplants to Dallas, so we
that holds no weight with us.
Good.
But we digress.
All right, so I know that you have this phenomenal brand that you started called Detroit Kindred. Since we're talking about Detroit, just how you bring your roots into the ethos of your brand is, I love it. I love how, everything is so unique to you and through your experience. So I always want to know a little bit more about what inspired you to create Detroit Kindred. What was the inspiration behind the name? And, just a little bit about your brand in general.
It started Originally, I started a business with my husband. We had kind of created a business plan and everything. And we looked up and we were like, we need more money for this. So it didn't work out in that way. And I started looking into what I liked and what I'm really good at and what didn't feel like a job. And I just love beauty items. I found that I really was interested in that. I've always been interested in doing my hair and doing other people's hair. And so that's when I started thinking, man, I love my natural hair and it'll be nice to have a place to go and find these things, all the things that I really enjoy. And a lot of people ask me about those things. So Detroit Kindred was birthed. The name actually came from the place of origin, Detroit, and then kindred being similar because it didn't matter where I went or who I interacted with online. We were somewhat similar in the same way that we love beauty. And it just came that way. Just like kindred spirits almost. Mm-hmm. So, yeah.
Nice. Now, a lot of times people always have, people have ideas and things that they, maybe aspire to do in life, but they may not have the confidence to be able to, take that leap forward, step out on faith and just kind of pursue their dream. For you, where did you find the confidence to start your own company?
Well, it was basically me being tired of being in the same place. So, you know how you get into the repetition of doing that work routine and seeing a lot of the same people and doing a lot of the same things. I got real tired of it. Yeah. And I felt like it was like a much needed outlet. I found myself one day having to venture outside of the house because I like to attend events around the city. And they had Detroit Startup Week here. I know they have startup weeks everywhere in the States, but they had one here and I just went 6 months pregnant.
Wow.
And I had no idea about the world of entrepreneurship. Went there, was inspired, and I've kind of taken off since. And I fell in love with being an entrepreneur, with encouraging people to find their own lane and avenues. And it's amazing. I really love it. I have a passion for what I do and I'm only kind of like getting started.
Mm-hmm. But you started. That's
what I did.
That's the hardest part. We talk about this all the time is because people ask us like, what can we do? I want to do the same thing. And I was like, you can. It's just all it takes is you just getting past that saying I want to do it and just starting to do it because things begin to open up for you as you move.
I did want to add on one more thing. I think it helps when you get around people that are doing things that you want to do.
Yeah.
Or even if you start to have the conversation because, we in COVID, you can't go around a lot of people, but you can enter into those spaces where people are talking about the things that you're interested in. Mm-hmm. For me, it was just as simple as joining a Facebook group.
Yeah.
And, kind of starting my own and having the conversation of what do people like? What do women like? What do you want to have for your kids as far as better products? And that was it. Just talking about the things you like and surrounding yourself with that imagery. It'll motivate you.
Right. I know you mentioned that you said that you and your husband initially were on, were talking through, starting a business. Did you guys have like any other references, like family wise or friend wise or anything, any mentorships or any mentors, that started or had their own business?
Oh, yeah. And my family more so, my grandmother was a serial entrepreneur. She really took off with multiple businesses. She was also a social worker and a counselor, certified legit counselor. So it was just amazing to see her operate. And she continued on in school until she was 60 something. She's always educate yourself and really research what you want to get into. And from that, I was just inspired. My family, a few people in my family, they own their own business. My uncle does. He owns his own church and he has his own construction company. My My cousins, they have their own business. So it's kind of like an infectious bug.
Yeah. No, I love that. You have people to model it for you.
Right.
Whether they, a lot of times you hear a lot of times celebrities say, well, I'm not a role model, da, da, da. But the truth of the matter is that someone is always watching you, whether you want to be that or not. And it's cool. It was cool, I think, for you that people in your family, immediate family, were modeling that for you, whether they were intentionally doing it or not. They were pursuing their passions, and you were able to see that as something that was attainable. So that's really cool.
Were there any particular lessons that you pulled from those experiences of growing up and watching those individuals in your family pursue those ventures within their own businesses?
I would say that it's never too late. Every time when you think that, man, I can't, it's not really a such thing as I can't. It's just you won't. You do what you like to do. You'll make time for the things that you want to do. But I think it was just more so, it's never too late. You can keep going, and it's never too late to learn anything. You should always be constantly learning something.
No, that's true. I guess this kind of ties a little bit into the more of that same kind of question is how you touched on a little bit of this, but specifically with this particular venture, how did you navigate through the unknowns as you have built this brand? Like, what resources were available to you, and where did you have to actively seek to, as you found that you may have been, there might have been some gaps into moving in your business?
So I come from a pharmaceutical background. I know nothing about business. So this was totally different for me. After attending that event, like I said, I was just interested in getting out the house and really just attending an event around the city. They had free resources that whole week. So by doing that, you get to connect with people, you talk to people, find out what they're into, how did they even get started. And with that, I found out it was a program here in the city of Detroit called Motor City Match. I signed up for it, and they helped to help you develop a business plan. And then from there, it was a place called Bill Institute that we attended, me and my husband, and they basically lay everything plain. Like, it's super easy. They're basically giving you a business. And they had different resources there. You had different teams around Detroit, Prosperous, like I said, Bill Institute, Motor City Match, BizGrid, DEGC. It's a lot of different resources online that you can really start to research and look into. And I would say even just tapping into the Chamber of Commerce where you live. Mm-hmm. They do have a lot of resources. It's just kind of like putting yourself out there, asking questions, and really opening your mouth and asking people, hey, how did you do this? What inspired you to do this? And that was my avenue. And so I started to join Facebook groups after that point, Detroit Leadership Network. And that was just strictly like for women. And I'm still a part of it. They tell you all about different things that are happening in the community, whether you want to be a vendor, whether you want to offer your services as an entrepreneur. It's amazing what people are into and what they know. And by just asking questions, I kind of always have like an open door. That's what I always view it as.
I love that. I love that. I love the fact that you did your research and you exhausted all your resources. And like you said, I think, which is very important, you asked questions. You opened your mouth and just asked questions. You knew that this was something that you didn't have a background in. It was something that was foreign to you, but you had a passion for it, and so you made sure you took the necessary steps to make sure that you were knowledgeable in this field. And
yes, and I love the fact that there were so many like resources out there, and it seems like they were mostly like free. So really,
yes,
just, out there for you. And mostly, I don't know for sure if they really if they emphasize more minority businesses, because that I think is a lot is a key for a lot of us too, because a lot of things we just don't know. We don't know what we don't know.
Yes.
But having access to those resources is key.
Absolutely.
I commend you for, you say you were 6 months pregnant, girl.
I know. I didn't know. I had no idea what I was getting myself into. I went there and I looked around. I'm like, oh, it's a free event. And I'm thinking free stuff. They give you free lunch, girl. I was hungry. And you talk about, I'm like, I'm about to go down here and see what they got. And I went there, and of course, nobody looks like me waddling around. But the most amazing thing that inspired me was they had a panel of Black women about how they entered into entrepreneurship. And they had one woman who still, I believe she still has a company here, House of Ven, and she's a Black business owner, and it was strictly wine. She owns a store of wine, like in our downtown area. And I found it amazing. She used grants and everything to start her business. And I had never heard anything like that. Like, who owns a winery, like a wine store? Or, I just thought it was amazing. You had people that were relationship counselors, and they started their own beauty brands. And I just could not, but I just was like in awe. So from that point, just for that event to give the floor to Black women, I felt as though that could be me one day. I don't know. I was just excited about them doing their thing. And I knew that if they were able to do it with, maybe even less resources than I have, then it's possible for me.
That's dope. I love that. Now, Chanle, let's talk about Detroit Kindred a little more in depth. Okay. Can you share with us and our listeners some of the products that you feature? And then also how important was it for you to make sure that the products that you source were cruelty free and were also produced right here in the US?
Okay. So Detroit Kindred is a natural and organic beauty brand. And every month I make sure to put together a collective box of a specialized theme. So like this month's theme is honey. Next month's theme will be Black feature. It's like a Black box. So you have Black tea, Black soap, Black oil. And I just wanted to make sure that the products that are offered present you as a person and your body great benefits. And I think it's very important for us to really understand that, especially in the Black community, what we are applying to our bodies and what we intake, even with food, down to food. I think that we don't really realize how important it is. Some years ago, I was diagnosed with like PCOS, and it had to do with my diet and even things that I was putting on my body. And even down to like medication and everything like that. I just felt as though I wanted to not only cleanse my outside, but my inside as well. And I wanted to offer the same opportunities to a lot of other people. And that's how that spawned. With Detroit Kindred, cruelty-free is so important to me, as well as that natural and organic labeling factor, because there aren't really tight regulations on labeling. But ingredient wise, I think that we have to do a little more digging and a little more research as to what we're putting on our bodies. So it's not harming us in the long run. Throughout Black history, we understand that a lot of things have taken place, especially with Black women and health. So that I just wanted to target in on us as an audience, as a community, and make sure that we are getting the proper products. Yeah. We deserve that, at least. Mm-hmm. And I think that it makes a difference when it comes down to our spending. Mm-hmm. We shouldn't spend billions of dollars on stuff that doesn't work for us. Mm-hmm. And I think that it's just important for us to be a little more knowledgeable. And if I can help that, I'll continue to have this brand out. I'll continue to put out better products for us, and even for men and children. I'm really, really striving to do that. I would love to incorporate more of that. I have it in Detroit Kindred now, and I just started. But I think that's just the lane that I'm in right now. And I think that it's really, really important for us to kind of get woke in that area too.
Mm-hmm. No, I love it. I would say I purchased your Father's Day, your June box for Father's Day for Cordell, and this man's like, she got a box for every month.
Before I even started, I honestly believed that it was only going to be women. I said, oh, I know women, they love beauty and this and that. I've had more men ask me questions. Hey, do you have this for men? Do you have, stuff, the multivitamins and all this? I said, hold up. Like, I didn't get that deep yet, but
I think that's a good point, because when you think about the beauty market, I feel like it's saturated. Don't get me wrong. I love that there are so many new brands out there, especially for us that really want to, produce products that really cater to what our needs are, what our skin needs are, still factoring into how it, like you mentioned, how it affects our bodies and things of that nature. But when you look at the whole scope of the beauty brand, you see more so that it's more skewed to women and not men. And so there is such a big market. There's a real gap there. We're saying that we need these things as women, but our men need these too. Well, and I'm not going to hold you. I'm getting tired of my husband's hands.
That's what I was just about to say. Yes. I was literally about to say that.
Go ahead.
That's the thing. Not, clearly there is a need, because our husbands are coming over to our side of the counter, the bathroom, digging through our conditioners and lotions and creams and butters. Sir, get your own, please.
Like, we don't notice. You open up that jar and a whole chunk of a corner gone, like,
right.
Let me tell you.
And they don't take like a little bit. They take a whole chunk out.
Chunk. Yeah.
No, but he really enjoyed the box.
It's very true. Even with...
Go ahead.
Even with my husband, I purchased, like, if I purchase some coconut oil, it's on his side of the bedroom. It's his stuff, and it becomes his. And it's almost like, that's for everybody to use. That ain't for just you. But I understand, men, they need that too. They need something that they can use as well. That's better for them.
It was one of the beard oils that you put in that June box. It smells so good. I'm going to have to look at it again and figure out which one it is. I think it's like a real, I don't know if it's a tiny bottle. It was like in a red and black box, I think.
Is it? Oh, no. That's the working man.
Working man.
Yeah, working man beard oil, yeah.
Girl. Okay. Working man. You better work, man. I don't need these type of problems in quarantine, Chanle.
Yeah, that's it. A lot of guys that ended up liking it. I appreciate it. Girl.
No, but yes, I do love the theme of your box. I know, because I love honey, and I saw that this for July. You have, like you said, the honey theme, and then it's all black everything for August. I love it. So, but yeah, I do like that you are conscious in in the curation of the boxes that you I guess I said the word curate for us. How did you manage those relationships to, I'm trying to get all your secrets, but what did it look like for you starting out to manage those relationships to get those the products for your boxes?
I really was going to start with some of the bigger brands, and I was like, oh man, I can have this brand and have that brand. And as we're seeing, just like now, a lot of those brands are not really owned by us, or even like women owned companies or anything. A lot of them are corporations, and a lot of them turned me down. I started to get a little discouraged at first because you have to make a certain amount of money to actually enter into those spaces. So I said, well, let me find smaller wholesalers. And that's exactly what I did. If it's a product that I'm really interested in, I can run across it in a store. I will email them and actually ask them, hey, how do are you interested in being featured in my box or whatever? Some people will turn you down. And I think it's okay with accepting a rejection and moving forward, because maybe it's not the time, or maybe that's not the right person. So I do look to a lot of independent companies like myself, because they're benefiting as smaller businesses and entrepreneurs, and I'm benefiting. So it's a win-win situation. And a lot of times I make sure that even in posting on social media that I credit that product to them, because without that, I don't really have much of a brand. So I really, really like that. And I make sure that I include at least one product created by a Black woman. That's just my goal. I'm really, really trying to make sure that I make that accessible to everybody, because we have great products too. We create great things. And I believe in that Black girl magic. I believe that it's really great that we are able to be creative. And whether it be skincare, hair care, cosmetics, we're out there too.
Absolutely. Well, we might have some people we can connect you with.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh, sorry, y'all. It's a lot of things going. Thankfully, this is a recording and we can edit different parts. But today, of all days, we just got all kinds of things that's just happening that don't never actually happen. I have planes flying over me.
People mowing, children knocking on the door, coming in. Like,
air kicking on.
Like, just all sorts of foolishness going on right now.
So, we're sorry if we're kind of like throwing up or we're kind of quiet. It's like, we're trying
tell people to go away. I'm looking at Boo. They out here mowing. You can hear everything.
This is the behind the scenes of putting together.
Wow.
When you're in your closet trying to record.
Man, telling
you. Okay, so how do you navigate through this journey as an entrepreneur? There are so many difficult moments that happen, not even just with the business itself, but just things. You're still living life. You're still, you still are a Black woman. You're still a wife. And there are so many elements to those things that factor into all the things. And, it could affect what you build in your brand. So what would you say has been kind of one of the most challenging things that you've experienced during this process, as well as, being a Black woman entrepreneur?
I think one of the challenging things is because I'm really just getting started, but I don't know whether a lot of people realize it or not, but there is a face to beauty, and a lot of times it don't look like us. So with that, it's almost like I feel like it's my duty or my job to continue to push that, pushing our brands forward and making sure that we are included and that we have some type of say. I think that's a challenge as a Black woman. And whether I feel like at the end of the day, we have to be heard in some kind of space. I think that the most challenging thing just in general in business is just the balancing act. As an entrepreneur, any entrepreneur can tell you do not get sleep. Like sometimes I'm operating off of like 4 hours or 3 hours, but you know what? I just feel like in the long run, it's going to be worth it. And just implementing a schedule and making sure that I kind of stick to at least accomplishing one goal daily. And that's probably it. And to the as far as like business goes, like I mentioned earlier, it's okay to accept when somebody does not want to work with you, or when they strictly tell you a no. You don't have a reason of why they don't want to work with you. You just continue to push on that drive that you have inside of you, and just continue to push forward and work with other people, because there are so many brands to work with.
Yeah, and you're so right. There are definitely a lot of moments that, this is it's basically like kind of I say it's almost like giving birth. It's like a baby, that especially those first few years, you don't get a lot of sleep.
No.
You're still learning what this baby needs and how to give, show the love that it needs, give it the right nutrients, and it can be draining, but also it can be so rewarding. It's rewarding, and it's like this, you get both. It's like it's such, because all of this that these outputs that's coming from you is you're putting into something that is an extension of you, and you want it to live on beyond you. It's not just, some company that you're just working for. Like, you are the brand, and
yes.
It's definitely rewarding. What I wanted to know, what does a typical day look like for you working through your brand?
So like today, well, each week I have at least one day to myself, like a strict, like 9 hours to myself. And I try to like put so many different things in that time slot. And like right now, my son is at daycare and my husband is at work. We just got a new dog. So I'm having to take the dog out every couple hours, and he's a puppy. And, I'm still on my laptop. And most times when I'm home, my laptop is near me, or I'm around it, or something along those lines. And I'm basically trying to look at what ways I can improve. I'm always looking at ways that I can improve. Or it may be just researching, this may be something that I want to include in a box for December, like, trying to be months ahead of time. And what ways can I always make things better? Researching what's trending and then what's beneficial and whether that'll help me or not. So from the beginning in the morning, I'm dropping off my son and trying to research and navigate my way through everything. I'm really honing into scheduling things ahead of time and making sure that I'm posting on all my social media pages, because that is something that is very difficult for me. But I try to stay consistent. And then it's household things, making sure I'm still cleaning up, making sure I still cook, because yes, I still cook at my house. And as soon as my husband gets home, it's basically, okay, what's the plan? Because we have plans that we have in place together. Yeah. So, and then when they go to sleep at night, my husband, my son, even the dog, I'm up on my laptop once again, back at it. So it just never stops, whether I'm making sure I'm putting in numbers for inventory or making sure that I'm making sure everything's balanced.
How old is Detroit Kindred? When did you launch?
So I launched the website in February, but I had been working on it since last year. I want to say April, May. But I was working on creating the business plan and going through the classes and everything like that, and trying to get the funds to start.
Yeah. Okay. How do you find that balance? You kind of talked about it a little bit, but as a wife, as a mom and a wife, and being an entrepreneur, how do you find that balance? Like, some people just kind of go through the day and it is kind of what it is. And then for other people, balance is a lot more important. Like for you, how do you find the balance to be able to?
And I'll add to that too, like, girl, how do you find, like, what does your self-care look like in that, especially in the midst of COVID right now?
Absolutely. And you got a dog too now?
I just got a dog, y'all. We drove for the dog too, like car. Oh. So self-care for me is just basically that's my prayer time. My prayer time is my car time. It is the time when I have that day to myself. It is just basically, okay, let me woosah and get it together. And a lot of times when I'm up at night, if I'm not working on work, a lot of times it's my hair. I'm really big in that area. As far as balancing things, I guess balance is what you want it to be. So, say for instance, if you want to spend more time with your husband or your family, that would probably be on whatever designated time that you choose it. I don't think that sticking to your schedule is such a balance because something will always go lacking. I think for my son, I try to make sure that I only give him a certain amount of time as far as TV time or tablet time. And then I'm kind of hands-on with him, whether it's running in the backyard or taking him to the park or going over little like learning activities. I try to make sure that I engage with him on a daily level on that field. And then as far as my husband, sometimes you got to turn on the girlfriend card and you just say, okay, what you want today, it's not like a thing of trying to be so set and structured because set and structure does not always work. It's almost like, as a wife, I'm there to help him. I'm not there to, well, this is what you ought to do because it's on my schedule. We kind of try to meet in terms of, let's just sit down, what we got for the week or what do we have planned for the next few days together, or what do you have planned? And we can collectively work together in that way. But like I said, something always goes lacking. It's just making sure that I'm okay with trying it the next day. Because sometimes I can get anxious and kind of beat myself up. Oh, I didn't get it finished today. And that's okay. I have to tell myself that is okay. It didn't get done today. It's fine.
No, you are speaking to me. Syrian will tell you I'm a bit of a worker bee. And sometimes that's to my detriment. That spoke to me too, because I had to sit myself down. Actually, it took a breakdown. I actually had an anxiety attack because it was so much that I was trying to consume and take on. And a lot of that too is because you get in this space, you feel like you're an entrepreneur. That means you have to do it. But people had to sit me down, including Terry, and were like, you can let some things go. Everything you won't have to do. So yeah, no, I had that learning lesson of you just have to be okay with some things just falling off the plate, or not necessarily just falling off the plate, but you don't have to eat the whole plate in one day.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's not even about, what you just said, you think everything's going to fall off the plate and then you have nothing. At the end of the day, it's like, okay, you just like you have to eat in portions or in segments, you got breakfast, lunch, and dinner type of thing. Like, you going to eat. We're going to make sure we get fed. But it's okay to not overconsume and fill your belly too much because then it can make you sick, right? It can make you sick.
Ain't that an analogy? That's a word.
So, yes, all things in balance, but we know we got to keep grinding at the end of the day as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
So what's your long-term dream for Detroit Kindred? What's your vision? How do you see this baby growing?
Well, I would love to open up a natural and organic beauty supply store. That's what I would love to do for Detroit Kindred.
I love that. Yes. Yeah. I'm sorry.
Here for that. No, I was listening. I got excited here. I got excited.
So I want to have an online platform, and with COVID happening and everything, it really helped me to look at things in a different aspect because you see a lot of businesses that are failing because they don't have online space or they hadn't prepared for that just yet. So I would love to continue to grow where I am online and then look for that brick and mortar and be able to open that up in my community because, in all of our communities, we don't really have that. We have a lot of beauty supplies where we don't have the help or we don't have the proper products.
And we don't have we don't have the ownership in a lot of these spaces.
That part.
I think it's just really important that we have that in our community, so it inspires younger generations to know that they can build up their own brand and their own businesses too if they see people that look like them.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. Man, this has been just I think a great conversation. And I'll tell you why, from my vantage point, why, besides the fact that what you're doing, I think is amazing. How you got started is even more amazing. And just pushing and striving to do great things and give great things back to our community. But a lot of times a lot of women we talk to, while we do hear about their journey, a lot of times some women are already kind of peaking or at their peak, so to speak. Mm-hmm. And we're still, like, you're still climbing the mountain, and we're getting like a different vantage point, I guess I should say. And I love the fact that you're able to share that with us, and we're able to, I think it's cool to watch people grow, you know what I'm mm-hmm. saying? Like to step into the middle of something and then watch the rise. And something you said earlier as well, when you talked about how, you were connecting with other entrepreneurs and small businesses, and offering their products through your company. And I was just thinking about how sometimes, in entertainment or in business, I feel like there are classes of people. What I mean by that is, like, there may be actors or actresses that have come up together, like they started at a certain point and they move up in the ranks. And it's like that now it's their time and mm-hmm. so on and so forth. And just, I love how you're staying connected to these small businesses, these small business owners, and you're like, y'all are going to rise together because you're supporting one another. And I think it's just going to be cool to watch that happen across the board, for you as well as these other small businesses. So yeah, Yana, did you want to say something before we go into our closing?
Yeah, before we go into our close, I just want to ask, what would be one lesson or one piece of advice that you would offer to someone who's standing in the space that you were when you wanted to start Detroit Kindred? What's the one key takeaway that you will offer to them right now?
I would say make sure that you do your homework. Don't jump in it for the reason of it looks like the grass looks greener on the other side. Don't do that. Or don't assume that because you see something that it's easy. Mm-hmm. It's hard work. I would say hit the ground running and make sure that you ask for help, because you cannot do everything by yourself.
Amen. What she said.
That's solid advice. 100% solid advice. Nice.
All right. So as we wrap, we always ask our guests, we're still in 2020 and, this has been a ride this year. Mm-hmm. But, usually there is some theme that we offer ourselves to guide us through the year, whether that's a word or some piece of inspiration or affirmation that we give ourselves. But I'm interested to know if you have a word that you'd be willing to share that's been guiding you in 2020. What's your power word?
Oh, one singular word. Is that what you're asking?
I mean, we've allowed some guests to stretch that rule. So.
Faith. That's my word. Faith.
Is there a reason why you chose faith?
I think that's the only way that you can move. Mm. That's the only way that you can really have your being. It's just faith. For me, it's just having faith in God and believing that He will come through. And for some people, it's faith in themselves or faith in a system or faith in their communities. Whatever a person's, you can have faith in pretty much anything. Mm-hmm. But whatever you're looking to trust in, just believe that it can work out.
Mm-hmm. I love that. Faith. You got to have faith.
Yes.
Nice. Do you have anything in the works for 2020? I know you were talking about you've already kind of been looking ahead and trying to gather some ideas for December's box. Is there anything else that you've got going on, or that may be coming up soon?
As far as, well, I am looking to change over my website. So that's a big transition.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so I'm looking to upgrade and change over my website. Currently looking for web design, and then that's as far as Detroit Kindred goes. And I am looking into formulas currently for creating my own hair care line.
Yes.
And that's where I am right now.
So you in the test labs right now? You testing out some things while you're in quarantine?
I'm looking at formulas and trying to figure out what would be the best chemist to go with as far as hair care goes. I want to make sure that I'm doing it all the way correct. I don't want to just make up something in my back, in my basement or nothing, but right. I just want to make sure that I'm really, really doing my homework as it pertains to putting this out, because I want to touch on some areas like as far as like alopecia and hair loss and hair thinning and stuff like that. I really, really want to hone in on those things. So yeah, that's what I'm kind of working on right now. I do a lot of stuff on the side. I am kind of cultivating the craft of photography. I do all my own pictures and everything. So it's kind of like just trying to, I guess, tweak things and make sure they're in order.
You just tapped on Terry's shoulder when you said photography.
I love taking people's pictures. I like when they feel confident. That's a whole nother topic. But yeah, that's something that I enjoy.
I love that. That's beautiful. Beautiful.
She's invested in the element of beauty, capturing it and helping.
Yeah. It's an art to it. It's an art.
I love it.
Right, it is. Go ahead.
No, I love it. We look forward to seeing these things take off for you. And if you want to send a sample or two when you
I got y'all. I got you.
and also I forgot to say, if you need someone to you need the website design plug, I know somebody. I happen to know somebody. You know them too. They might be on this show right now talking to you. It's not me though, but yeah.
For real? Girl, I didn't know you did web design.
Yeah. I'm just putting you out there, huh?
It's kind of like what you and Terry with photography. I dabble and dabble with it.
Well, I would definitely need your help because, I'm looking to upgrade.
Yeah, we can talk about it. We can definitely talk about it. I'm here for you. No, this has been such a great conversation. Just one last kind of question for our listeners. How can they connect with you on social and anywhere? Just, how can they get their hands on a box?
Okay, so the website to purchase a box is DetroitKindred.com. You can always contact me on the contact page, or you can email me directly at DetroitKindred@gmail.com. On Facebook, it is Detroit Kindred, just with a space in between. With Instagram and Twitter, it is Detroit_Kindred.
Awesome. And we'll have all that information listed in our show notes for you guys. And, she's shown us so much love that she's giving the love to y'all too.
Yes.
Passing that love on down. So for those who are interested in getting your hands on a box, which y'all, again, you want to get your hands on these boxes, you might want to make sure you get one for your husband too, so they won't be in yours. Just a word of advice.
Yeah.
But she's offering 10% off for all of our listeners and supporters of Melanated Conversations. And we'll have all that information included in our show notes and the links to everything as well.
Yes, yes. Yes, yes. Well, Chanle, it has been an honor and a pleasure to meet you, to chat with you. Thank you for sharing your story with us. I know I've got an anniversary coming up, so I'll be purchasing a box or 2 or 3. I don't know. We'll see what happens. But I'm definitely going to check you out and support. And this has been great. Stand up, D-Town. I do miss, I just want to say one thing too also about Detroit. I miss the basement situation. It makes me upset that we down here in Texas do not have basements, but that's another story.
It really is. Let me tell you, I did. I visited there some years back and I was devastated you guys do not have basements. I'm like, where do you put your stuff?
Girl, the way this earth moved down here, the basement would be to the east and the house would be to the west.
Ain't that the truth? Ain't that
earth
the truth?
Is different here.
It's so different, but it's crazy because like we literally need basements.
Yes.
Like we can benefit from basements solely from the fact that not only does the earth move, but the sky be moving a lot too. We like to blow stuff away.
Yeah, if COVID wasn't going on right now, we'd probably be up there with y'all because it's hot here.
Ain't no different here. It's gonna be 90 degrees.
I agree. Y'all summers are hot,
It's for the weekend, so it's
y'all get that little breeze from Canada.
They summers be
tiny little baby breeze
from them lakes and things.
Them lakes said nah, bro.
No, but yeah, you let us know definitely when you're back in town. We would love to connect. When the world reopens. So, but y'all,
when it's COVID up, I want to visit. I want to come down there and see y'all.
Well, y'all, that is our time. We thank you again for always tuning in and supporting us as we share and lift another sister and amplifying her voice and sharing her story. We appreciate you, Chanle, for sharing your story. Our mission is always to share in our lessons together and celebrate our successes. So thank you for saying yes and for hopping on with us. We appreciate it.
Yes, we appreciate you. I don't know.
Thank you so much for having me on. This was so fun. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
You are so welcome. Mm-hmm. All right, y'all. Well, until next time.
Melanate on that.
Thank you for tuning in. Hope you enjoyed our chat today. Keep the conversation going by heading to iTunes to subscribe, rate, and leaving us a review.
Have a story of your own to share? Email us at info@melanatedconversations.com or connect with us on social media at Melanated Conversations. Till next time, keep raising your voice.